Canon launched the R5 Mark II on July the 17th, and despite some unhappy people, the camera exceeded sales numbers, being the best-selling camera of the year. But before we get to the details, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, helps this channel grow, and keeps you up to date on the latest camera coverage. And along with the R5 Mark II, Canon sold a lot of the BGR20 battery grip for $349, but in second place, with the cooling grip coming in a close second. And for every Canon EOS R5 purchase, people bought at least one extra LP E6P battery. And one other sales note, the R5 Mark II, when compared to the R1 in terms of pre-orders, outsold the R1 by a 9-to-1 margin. All right, with all that build up, you've got to know there's some bad news coming, or maybe you just got that by the thumbnail. Canon's already issued a supply shortage notice. The EOS R1, the R5 Mark II, and the new cooling fan, the CF R20EP. Canon says we plan to ship products one by one, but delivery may take longer than usual. Well, I hope it's a whole lot quicker than the RF 200 to 800mm f6.3-9. That is still on the short list and has been so since it started shipping in December of last year, despite being announced in November. That, guys, is about 7 or 8 months. And I do own the 200 to 800mm. It's right there. I was lucky. I got it. I was one of the first to pre-order it, and I had it on December the 14th. But many people are just, I've just gotten a few viewers that have told me, I just finally got the 200 to 800. I don't suspect that the R5 Mark II, we're going to have to wait 8 months to get it after pre-ordering. And that's one of the reasons why I suggested pre-ordering the Canon EOS R5 Mark II if you were considering the camera, if you were even a little bit on the fence, because I knew this camera was going to be popular. I knew it was going to sell out on day one. Now, as far as how long is it going to take for them to finally catch up with demand, will it be a week, a couple of months? I certainly hope it doesn't reflect what we saw in 2020. If you recall, the Canon EOS R5, the Mark I, it took the better part of 2 years for Canon to catch up with demand. 2 years. It was just, I couldn't believe it. Now, other things were going on. They were talking about supply shortages and other shocks to the system. Although, if you take a look again at this note by Canon, and it is machine translated, currently, we are experiencing delays in the delivery of the following products due to orders exceeding expectations. Yeah, I get that part. I mean, based on the pre-orders I've seen, this camera is very popular. It's more popular than any other camera that I've covered on this channel. But here's the kicker here. You ready for this part? This is an old chestnut. And also due to the impact of the global parts supply. Yeah, it's the middle of 2024 and Canon is still bringing up the global part supply as an issue. You know, I guess there's still some leftover issues from 2020 and that whole mess for a couple of years because, well, no, even the automotive industry has started to catch up and prices are coming back to normal and we're able to order cars, but there are still some shortages and there are, I guess, some leftovers. I really hope it doesn't take a couple of years to catch up to, well, supply. And if you're still on the fence and considering getting the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, any of the accessories or the Canon EOS, I don't think you're going to have a problem with the EOS R1 as much. You're not seeing the same level of queues. One thing I might suggest you do is go ahead and pre-order the camera. It's not going to start shipping until August the 20th. So at least for the next couple of weeks while you're kind of deciding on whether to get it or not, go ahead and pre-order it. There's a ton of information out. There's a lot of reviews, although it's on pre-production units. But what dropped yesterday is Canon released the user manual. Now, they didn't release it in PDF form. We have it in HTML form, and I have the link in the description down below where you can read through all the important information that you're looking for. I spent a lot of time yesterday looking over the various resolutions and frame rates of both stills and video. I also found some very interesting information about simple things such as that battery indicator. It used to be pretty useless because once you get down to 2 bars, you didn't know if you were down around 35%, or where you were. Now, based on how it works, is you've got full bars down to 70%, and as soon as it hits 49%, you're down to 2 bars. But where it is what I really love is when it gets down to a single flashing 1 bar. That means you got 9% left, so it gives you an idea of how long you can shoot before you need to switch out the batteries. And with these ones supplying a little bit more power, we don't have to worry about switching out the batteries at 50% because we may not have enough power for certain capabilities. So that's one benefit. But they also really talk about how the new menu systems have changed, especially in video, because it completely renamed everything. So take a look at the user manual, and if you do go ahead and pre-order, and if you pre-order from Adorama or B&H from these guys right here, I do get a small commission back that goes to supporting this channel. And a big thanks to all of you that have pre-ordered the camera, because I get a very small amount of revenue from the YouTube ads. Basically what keeps this channel on the air is your support using my affiliate links and the pre-order links, especially for the R5 Mark II. Now, I have pre-ordered the R5 Mark II through my dealer. We didn't really talk accessories because I've been kind of building them up. I'm going to get the eyepiece. I'm going to get the cooling fan, and I'm probably an extra battery. I probably should have locked those accessories in, but the problem was I didn't really expect to see the accessories sell out. So I'm going to make a call to my local camera store, and hopefully I'll be able to get those accessories on day one. There is one accessory I was not able to get on day one of the Mark I, and that was the EF to RF adapter. I think I do have one here. Where is it? Yep, right here. So I was able to get this one. This is the one with the control ring. I've never used it. I didn't want this one. It's about, I think it was $100 more at the time. But he told me that it's the only one they have left. They sold out of the other ones, and I was one of the first ones in the store. So it kind of gives you an idea. So I really do hope that we start to see these things shipping a little bit early. We're told that it's going to be on August the 20th. I'm hearing that from Canada and the United States. So they're going to start shipping on August the 20th. Hopefully it comes a little sooner, and hopefully they catch up to demand. I'll keep you up to date as I hear more information on that. However, I want to show you something else that's interesting. It's a little bit about deals of the week. Take a look right here. The Canon EOS R5 Mark II is on sale for $29.99. And the Nikon Z8, its closest competition, $37.96. Isn't that, that's interesting, isn't it? So up until the announcement, the Canon EOS R5, the Mark I, was on sale for $28.99. And the Nikon Z8, also on sale for $34.96, $500 off. And what's really interesting is those sales were basically non-stop for the last, what, 2 to 5 months? And now that Canon's released the R5 Mark II with a much higher price of $42.99, Nikon's kind of, well, raised the price a little bit. It's like, we don't have to discount our camera nearly as much. And remember, I said this when I was covering the R5 Mark II over the last week. I said, if it is $42.99, which it is, then it doesn't really justify the price gap between, of what, $800 between the Z8 and the R5 Mark II. And of course, unfortunately, the wrong people heard that statement. Instead of Canon lowering the price, Nikon said, you're right, Simon, let's go ahead and cut the sale price of our Z8 of $200 off now instead of $500, and the R5 Mark I is $400 off instead of $500 off. Yay! But I do suspect, based on a price of $42.99, which I do think is higher than it should have been. I was predicting a maximum price hike of around $40.99 or $41.99 at the very highest. I wouldn't be surprised if by Black Friday, Canon knocks off around $100. I wouldn't expect anything like $300 off. This camera is selling like hotcakes, and their strategy to price it at $42.99, well, it appears to be working because it's giving them a huge cash injection. And I wouldn't be surprised to see if their market share numbers for, well, 2024 reported in 2025 show an uptick to grab some of that ground that was taken from Sony. What do you think? Have you pre-ordered the Canon EOS R5, the Mark II? Have you decided to pick up the Mark I? Or maybe you've got the Nikon Z8? Or were you one of those few that picked up the Canon EOS R1? And what kind of accessories did you pick up? I've decided not to purchase the Canon EOS R1, but I'm going to try to get my hands on it. There look to be some really amazing capabilities of the camera, certainly in video and stills. It's not that it's a bad camera, it's just when I was initially hearing about the Canon EOS R1, it kept being touted as the master of everything, the jack of all trades. And Nikon released the Z9, Sony released the Alpha 1, and I thought, okay, this is a camera that will work not just for sports photographers, fast action sports photographers, but it'll also work for people like me. But it ended up not doing 8K, not doing all those other video capabilities I was looking for, and really for me, I would say the R5 Mark II is truly the master of everything. Thank you so much for watching to the very end. Thank you so much for using my affiliate and pre-order links. Have yourself a great day. We'll see you again soon. Very soon, I'll have another video out tomorrow. Only this time we're looking into the Sony a7 IV. We got some information for you there. Cheers. Have yourself a great day, a great week. And if you've pre-ordered anything or bought anything recently, enjoy. There's still an awful lot of sales on, so don't be afraid to check out B&H or Adorama. I've already got a bunch of links in the description down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Cheers.